Hello, and welcome to Dutchess County's Tick-Borne Disease Prevention presentation. I am Dr. Allison Kaufman, Public Health Advisor in Communicable Disease Control. The objective of today's presentation is to provide an overview of tick-borne disease in the United States and Dutchess County, and then review tick bite prevention strategies. We'll start with a little Q&A. What is a tick-borne disease? A tick-borne disease is any illness you can get from the bite of a tick. And why are we so concerned about tick-borne disease in Dutchess County? The answer to that question is because we have a lot of it. This map shows the distribution pattern of reported cases of Lyme disease in the United States. Each blue dot represents one case of the disease. Dutchess County is in an area where the map turns dark blue, indicating a high density of cases. Other tick-borne diseases don't occur with as high a frequency as Lyme disease, but they follow the same pattern. The geographic distribution of cases of human disease mirrors the geographic distribution of the tick that causes them. Lyme disease is the most frequently diagnosed vector-borne disease in the United States, but that risk isn't evenly distributed. The northeast section of the country bears the brunt of the burden. Another reason why we are so concerned about tick-borne disease in Dutchess County is that the ticks are carrying more than just Lyme disease. This slide shows the different diseases you can get from the bite of a tick in Dutchess County. The diseases listed on the left side of the slide are relatively common, while the ones on the right side of the slide are quite rare. The black-legged tick, otherwise known as the deer tick, is the tick responsible for most of the diseases commonly found in Dutchess County, including Lyme disease, anaplasmosis, babesiosis, and rarely Powassan virus and Borrelia miyamotoi. Every tick isn't infected with a disease, but you can't tell which ones are infected just by looking at them. This slide shows the life stages of the black-legged tick. The black-legged tick lives for 2 years and goes through a series of 3 life stages. They take 1 blood meal in each life stage. Larvae, for the most part, do not transmit disease. Tiny nymphs that are the size of a poppy seed are thought to transmit most cases of disease because they're so tiny that people don't notice them and remove them. Adults are about the size of the sesame seed, and although they also can be infected with disease, people are more likely to find them and remove them before they have enough time to transmit disease. Here's the life cycle of the black-legged tick in more detail. Eggs are laid in the spring and hatch into larvae in the summer. The larvae may become infected when they feed on disease-carrying small rodents. Larvae molt and emerge as nymphs in the spring. Nymphs also mostly feed on small rodents, but they can be indiscriminate and might feed on a deer or a person that walks past them. They also may become infected for the first time in this life stage. The period of peak nymph activity, the late spring to the midsummer, is also the time of greatest risk of infection for human beings. Nymphs molt and then emerge as adults in the fall. Adults feed on larger animals like deer and people, and then overwinter and die after laying eggs in the spring. Most cases of tick-borne disease occur during the late spring and early summer. This corresponds to the time when nymph ticks are most active. Risk is greatest in June and July and lowest from December through March. Another strategy to reduce tick bites is to know the places where ticks live and then choose to walk in lower risk places whenever possible. We don't want people to give up outdoor activities. They're healthy for other reasons. We just want you to make sensible choices to reduce your risk. You have to know where ticks live if you want to avoid those places. So where are the ticks? Ticks like to live in moist places that are low to the ground, like leaf litter, brush, and tall grass. They also like to live on fallen logs or stumps and on low bushes. They don't fall from the trees. Here's an example of a time when you can make a choice to reduce your risk of tick bites. When you have the choice of walking on the pavement or walking in the leaf litter or grass, choose the pavement. The next strategy to prevent tick bites is to wear protective clothing. It's a good idea to wear light-colored clothing because ticks show up better against a light background and they can be more easily noticed and brushed off. The outfit seen on the slide is what's usually recommended to provide a barrier between your body and ticks. However, surveys have shown that a lot of people find that it is just too hot to wear long sleeve shirts and long pants with your socks tucked in summer months. A lot of people also don't like the look of tucking your pants into socks. So I tell people that if they're comfortable in this outfit, then it's great. It does provide a barrier between their skin and ticks. But there are other options that you can do with clothing to also help prevent tick bites. Another strategy to reduce tick bites is to wear clothing that has been treated with permethrin. Permethrin is a clothing treatment that repels ticks and other insects. Clothing can be purchased pre-treated from a company called Insect Shield and is available online and through many outdoor clothing brands. Pre-treated clothes will remain effective through 70 washings, which is basically the life of the garment. You can also buy permethrin spray and treat clothes yourself. Home treatment will remain effective through 6 or 7 washings. The spray is available through Amazon and many other retailers. Studies of people wearing typical summer clothes like shorts, t-shirts, socks, and sneakers have shown that those using permethrin-treated socks and shoes had 70% less ticks on them after leaving a tick-infested environment. Using insect repellent will also reduce risk for tick bites. The CDC recommends that you use repellents that contain 20% or more DEET, picaridin, or IR3535 on exposed skin for protection that lasts up to several hours. You should always follow the product instructions, and parents should apply the product to their children, avoiding the hands, eyes, and mouth. Many people have concerns about DEET. However, DEET has been in use for 50 years and has a proven safety track record. Incidents of DEET toxicity are very rare, and they're usually linked to extreme overuse or misuse. The other CDC recommended ingredients also have good safety and efficacy profiles. They just haven't been in use as long as DEET. When selecting an insect repellent, it's important to choose one that's been registered by the EPA for the greatest assurance of safety and efficacy. EPA-registered products have to display a registration number on their label. You can also look for the graphic that's shown on this slide that will tell you how many hours it will repel ticks and how many hours it will repel mosquitoes. The EPA also has a web tool online that you can use to find a repellent that fits your needs. Many people are interested in using natural botanicals as repellents. It's important to remember that natural doesn't equal safe and man-made doesn't equal unsafe. If a product is not EPA registered, it has not had to go any testing to show that it is effective. There are many homemade insect repellent recipes circulating online, and there's no way to know how effective these homemade recipes are going to be. Don't believe everything that you read online. Ticks can also hitch a ride into your house on clothing or on gear. So it's important, if you've been outside in an environment where there might be ticks, to take off your clothes before you enter your living environment. For example, take off your clothes before you lay down on your bed or sit down on your couch. Ticks are not killed in the washing machine, but the dryer on high will kill them. The best way to kill ticks is to put clothes directly in the dryer for 10 minutes on high heat. If this isn't possible because the clothes are highly soiled, then you can put them in the washer first. Just make sure that they go into the dryer after that and that they stay in the dryer until the clothes are thoroughly dry and hot to the touch. It's also important to take a shower soon after coming in from an environment where you might have been exposed to ticks. Showering facilitates you being able to look at your whole body and find any ticks that might be attached. The running water will also wash off ticks that are still crawling on your body but not attached. The next step is to do a thorough tick check. Tick checks are also an important strategy for reducing risk of tick-borne disease. That's because the sooner that you remove an attached tick, the less likely it is to transmit disease. There's a grace period, a time that ticks must be attached before they start transmitting disease for most common tick-borne diseases. Transmission is unlikely if a tick has been attached for less than 36 hours. Tick checks should be done as soon as possible after outdoor activity and at least once a day. Children should be assisted by adults, and it's important to have a helper to check those areas that are hard to see. If a helper isn't available, you can use a handheld or full-length mirror. It's also important to use your eyes and your fingertips to feel for ticks in areas that might be covered by hair. Ticks only attach by their mouth parts, not by their legs. You can use the tip of the tweezers to lift up on the tick to find the hinge point. Then grab the tick as close as possible to where it's attached to the skin and pull straight out. Once the tick is removed, you can clean the area with alcohol. You can record the date and location of the tick bite as a reminder to be vigilant for signs of tick-borne disease. The link at the bottom of the slide is for a video from the New York State Department of Health on the proper technique for tick removal. This slide shows a list of methods that you should not use to remove ticks. None of these methods will rapidly cause ticks to detach on their own. At best, they will delay the time before the tick is removed, thus increasing the risk of disease transmission. Even worse, they may cause the tick to regurgitate infectious materials into your body. So, remember, if you find a tick, use a pair of fine-tip tweezers and remove the tick from your body as soon as possible. Detection of early symptoms can prevent some of the more severe consequences of tick-borne disease. Early signs of disease include flu-like symptoms like fatigue, chills, fever, headache, muscle and joint aches, and swollen lymph nodes. Rash is common in many tick-borne diseases, particularly in Lyme disease. The rash associated with Lyme disease is often referred to as a bullseye rash because it has an area of central clearing, but it doesn't always have to look like that. These are some other examples of Lyme disease rashes. They may have an area of ulceration in the center where the tick bite was. The area of central clearing may be absent, and they are most commonly just a red or pink expanding oval or circle. Sometimes the oval or circular shape can be distorted by the anatomy beneath, and sometimes, especially as they fade over time, the color may be more of a purple color. These rashes are most often found at the site of a tick bite, and tick bites like to bite people in moist areas like the backs of the knees, the armpits, and the groin. These rashes occur in about 70 to 80% of cases. They usually happen about 7 days after a tick bite, but they can occur anywhere from 3 to 30 days after a tick bite. They gradually expand over a period of days and can reach a size of 12 inches or more across. They may feel warm to the touch, but they're rarely itchy or painful. Because this rash often appears before any other signs of illness, it's important to recognize it and go to the doctor. Thank you for taking the time today to learn more about ticks and tick-borne disease. For more information, you can call the Dutchess County Tick-Borne Disease Information Line at 845-486-3407, or you can visit us online at dutchessny.gov/ticks. More information is also available at the Centers for Disease Control website and the New York State Department of Health website.